I'm going to tell everybody a great tip that helped save my life, particularly during the pandemic. I became a student of Roman Stoicism. You're getting the clue that I like Roman history. Roman Stoicism, there is a website called The Daily Stoic. S-T-O-I, nobody's writing that down. Write it down, please. S-T-O-I-C, dailystoic.com. And the author of that is Ryan Holiday, is one of my favorite authors. And what they teach is a system of dealing in a high stress, high conflict environment. The Stoics from ancient Rome, they were not guys that just sat around and looked at their navel. The most famous Stoic was Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome. Anybody see the movie Gladiator? Yeah. So Marcus Aurelius was the emperor in that movie. So what the Stoics basically do is they create a system of thinking about things. And the primary thought is saying to yourself, what can I control and what can't I control? What can't I control? I can't control a bad ruling. I can't control a loudmouth opponent. I can't control, excuse me, Miles, an asshole boss. I can't control my client who's not doing their discovery. I can't control any of that stuff, but what can I control? I can control myself, my attitude, on whether or not I can turn this into an opportunity somehow. I can't tell you how many days I go to court and I say, it's a win, regardless of what happens, if I keep my shit and I don't start yelling at the other attorney. Okay, that's a win, because I controlled myself and I maintained my dignity and my honor, even though this person is a lunatic on the other side. So I've learned so much from that resource, and that's a great diving in point, the Daily Stoic. And it's taken me a lot of places. I've read a lot of books. I read the writing of Seneca, who was another famous Stoic back then. Marcus Aurelius has a famous book called Meditations, where he'd journal and he'd write to himself every morning. He'd say things like, today I'm going to be dealing with a lot of scoundrels, a lot of bad people, a lot of liars, a lot of whatever. And he would bolster himself in the morning to deal with these very difficult, arduous personalities. And you can kind of read it, you can read his meditations to himself. And I started journaling as a result of that. Every morning I get up after I meditate and I write in my journal and I psych myself up for the day. And I've got this deposition coming up today. And here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on not getting sidetracked. I know my opponent likes to object a lot. I'm going to not jump into the mud puddle with him. I'm going to say, noted, please answer the question. That's another strategy that I use all the time. Attorneys objected to deposition. Objection, asked and answered. That's not a legitimate objection at a deposition. The only objection really legitimate at a deposition is its privilege. Okay, relevancy isn't even a legitimate objection under the rules. Okay, nobody follows these rules but me. But if I get a bogus objection, I would just say, thank you, noted, please answer the question. And if you do that emphatically and confidently, odds are the other side will then back off at that point. So anyways, in the morning when I'm journaling, I'll remind myself of these sorts of things. And I've been doing this 37 years and I still need reminders. Miles said before, we learn best by going over the fundamentals. I take 10 days a year where I teach fundamentals, how to ask a good question on direct examination. It starts with the W siblings, who, what, where, when, why, and their cousin H, how, or please explain. That's how you start a question. Joe knows all this, it's redundant. But I go through these fundamentals myself. I teach because I learn. And that's how you become a great trial lawyer, by doing it over and over and over and not getting sucked up in all the drama. Divorce law is the hardest area of law because of our clients, but maintaining the Stoic attitude, what can I control? All right, that's a great thing. Another Stoic principle is don't catastrophize. Okay, so you blew a date. All right, it's not the end of the world. 6 months from now, you're not going to remember this. And meanwhile, you're laying up at 3 a.m. in the morning, freaking out with heart palpitations about something dumb you won't even remember 3 weeks from now. Keep a reality check on yourself. Remember that everything is transient. Your worst client ever, that's not going to be your client forever. At some point, the case will be done or you'll get out of the case. So that's what Stoicism has taught me.